I was just telling people that I'm not expert in lives, so I was waiting for you here and talking to them like, okay, I don't know what to say until you join us, but now
Yeah,
you're
I
here, so
completely.
that's great.
I was looking and I was like, why did I think that she was gonna send the invite like through? I don't know what I thought because Instagram is still new to the live thing. I was like, all right, let me. I was like, I forgot. I was like, all right, we gotta go on your live and then we're gonna see how this gonna work.
Yeah, and I forgot to tell you actually. I thought you knew, but I forgot to tell you that you have to join. It's
Ah,
okay, doesn't matter.
yeah.
Oh,
So
great! You have the full equipment here. You have the microphone, the headphones. Great.
yeah, I'm also recording on my end too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. To finally get to meet you. It's been since years now.
Yeah, I was telling my followers that actually we know each other since I don't know 2017 or 16 even,
Yeah.
because you decided to publish some of my work in your magazine.
Yes.
So thank you now in live. uh, and I really like talking to you that occasionally, because you're very inspiring and you always have you actually have interesting approach to your work and also to marketing and things like that. So it's really inspiring, and that's actually the reason why I called you today. And because I know that in America right now the things are not good, so
Yep.
I wanted just to hear from you, and so the people could hear also from you. How are actually things going there? What is going on? How are you surviving and everything?
It's insane right now. So other places are kind of doing a little better in terms of managing. Like, hey, this is what we guys need to do. You know, uh, like I'm talking not in the United States, and everybody's kind of like a little more cordial, and everybody's just calm. It's like, all right, we'll stay home, we'll do what we got to do and whatnot. Over here in America, for some reason, you can't tell Americans to stay in the house for too long, or they'll just lose their mind and they'll create conspiracies, talk about 5G networks causing the like. That's most of that stuff is because people were sitting in their house for too long, aka Americans, and they come up with these interesting stories, and then they trying to justify them leaving the house. So now we have things that we can leave the house at certain times. Before it was like don't leave the house. Now they're like, all right, you guys can leave. Um, just wear your mask and stay 6 feet and whatnot. Other states had opened up, and they've I think in the course of 3 days it spiked up like by like 1,000 just by them alone. So to me, I
Yeah.
feel like they weren't really paying attention, and they said, people they want to go outside, so let them go outside, and they just let them go outside. And some of the states are still open now, but schools they're not opening. I had Jersey was supposed to open up, and that didn't happen. Like they were gonna open up the schools, and they said, all right, next year they'll open up the schools because especially with those early states that open, like Florida, as you know. I'm sure you heard it on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, everybody's kind of cordial. I think right now we just recently opened up the parks, so that kind of calmed
Mm-hmm.
down people. I think that's gonna have people be more relaxed than what they did before. But again, another hiccup: they weren't wearing masks, and they're just all chilling out at the park. So
Yeah.
yeah. Other than
So it's
that,
pretty much the same as here. Actually, we actually have the same in balconies here. We are not disciplined at all. Everything is like some theories, 5G, Bill Gates tipping people on balcons, and very, very different and crazy theories. And we're also not disciplined. We also had those prohibitions of moving and things like that. But today, some of those things are just starting to, they won't there won't be any more those bans, and people are more relaxed. But there are much more ill people, so I don't really get that logic.
Yeah.
So it's really not pleasant thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself. I'm saying to myself, like, it would be best if y'all just stayed inside in the first place. Because I was explaining to people,
Yeah,
we're about like 1/4 the peak, and this is just the first wave, and we haven't hit the
yeah,
second. So, in terms of like what I've been dealing with mentally, I'm like, I'm a homebody, so I'm cool. So I stay in the house. Now I'm thinking of ideas for like photo shoots, but it's just like it's hard to be creative in the world that's chaotic outside. And like, damn, if there's not enough people, then how can I do my photo shoots? It's kind of like this. So many weird thoughts that come into your head. Like, I was like, I don't. Should I still be a photographer, or should I be like some Mad Max character right now? Like, like so many
great,
decisions.
right. Okay, so today we will definitely talk about the being in quarantine, being in isolation, but also connected to creativity. You are a photographer, videographer. I'm not actually sure what you also do. I know that you have that online
Yeah.
magazine. You probably do different things. So I suppose that you're affected with this whole situation in a financial way, in every different way, just as everyone here, actually everywhere. So first, I would like to ask you, how is this thing with isolation working with your creativity? You just said now that you can be creative, but is there something going on? Are you inspired in any way, or you're just completely blocked? And how are you dealing with all that?
Right now, I feel like I'm more inspired because anytime with me in particular, the more I'm inside with my head and ideas, the more likely I am to create more content. Thank you. The more likely I am to create more content and like I was watching a movie and I was like, oh, that would be a dope photo shoot. Then I was sitting down and I saw like a bird like just sitting by itself and like, wouldn't that be cool if I had like a human just sitting like acting like a bird in public, like a bird personify a person personifying like what a bird would be in public environments and whatnot. So I'm just jotting down all these crazy ideas and I'm saying like I can't wait to shoot it. And there's so many things that I have in my head, but I think what's causing it to be really like a fluster in the creativity. You want your ideas to come out of your head, but because you don't see like an I guess because I do a lot of portrait shoots, so I deal with a lot of people. So like when will this end? It's kind of like now it's like pushing my creativity back. It's growing it. It's like growing it, but then it's pushing it back. So it's like, damn. So
Yeah,
should I, stop?
weird
Yeah,
process.
it's a weird process. Like, should I stop the creativity and then hold off, or should I just keep on creating until I have no more room left in my head? Like, so.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I talked with a lot of people in the last few days through these quarantine live talks, and people were telling different things. Some of them were blocked, then finding inspiration with the things they have around the house. Some people are actually doing good. They're doing, for example, self portraits and things like that. So it's also interesting. So different people have different visions of this. So it's interesting. But the thing that we are all affected is exactly that financial part of
Mm.
financial blockage of coronavirus.
Yeah, that
So
one
could you
is
tell me
tough.
how are you? What is going on there?
So in terms of that, it's like I think what's been the change because I also work with like the like marketing as well, in terms of like marketing consultant for like companies. So I like create content for them, and because they're not in the office, I can't really create, but I still create It's forcing me to be a little more creative on terms of not limiting myself to in person content creating.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is kind of like a challenge to all creatives to what if you can't meet the subject? Can you still relay the story? And then that's when those webcam live things came into play. It's like if I'm X amount of miles away, can I still do a photo shoot remotely? So me right now, financially, I'm like, all right, this is the situation now because I was seeing people in person and it affects me majorly. So now
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, how can I create content so I can help others relay their message for their company or for themselves? And I think that is the challenge I'm still currently working on. It's just kind of convincing the world, like, hey, would you pay for a shoot if I'm not like there in front of you? Or what can I
Right.
do to maybe create a story for a company without having to have a crew with me? Maybe like create, like go outside, create like a little short commercial, add some narration, and I'm like, hey, here you go. It had, they have people in there, or maybe it did, and I think it's more like a challenge. But right now, financially, not the best at the moment, but it's luckily it's early enough that creatives, we think on our feet, so we have enough time to sit down in the house and think of an idea and say, all right,
Yeah.
how can I sell this concept and whatnot. But surely something different. I think it opened a lot of markets.
It does definitely. But what do you think? Will there? I mean, after everything finishes, whenever that is, the things won't be the same at all. The life won't be the same as it was. There is no way that is going to happen. So it was very interesting to hear that you say that you were thinking about some of the, for example, new models of working with everyone, with people, with crews. So, what do you think? Will other people who you work with will be ready for? I don't know how to say it else, but will they be prepared to work with you in those new terms and on your new ideas?
Now, I think if you have like a solid, because I work with a selective group of people, and
Mm-hmm.
there once I think things are, it's like slow burn because like especially acting, how can you truly film and do a set if this is going on? So I feel like
You
at this
can't.
point you
I don't
can't.
know.
You can't. It's like the cooties at this point. You're like, all right, I can't, like, you can't have no major actors on set and then have this going around. Like, they're gonna be like, nah, I can't. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna risk it. And then the crew, the industries, they don't really care too much. So the only reason why I think the major thing is like if actors say no, then there's no production. And I think that was the biggest
Yes.
stand. So then that's when the crew's like, oh wow, I can't work. But I mean, granted, it's for a good cause. I feel like there's a lot of situations that called for like, listen, we can't do this because if we do this, then we're risking other people's lives. So it'd be better not to do that. But then when things go back to normal, people are still gonna be acting weird. It takes 21 days to learn a habit, and it's been more than that. So to expect people to come back and forget, like, oh yeah, it was like I feel like the only way things will get back to normal would be if they say these words: the coronavirus was a host. That was it. The coronavirus was a
Yeah.
test. I think at that very
Yes.
moment, that's when people are like, oh, wow, I knew it wasn't nothing. And yeah, I'm going to be mad at my government. But I think that's the only extreme response that everybody will go back to normal. But other than that, I feel like people are still going to be it's going to be difficult. Like, as a photographer to a photographer, we know it's easy to do a shoot and not be physically next to the person and call it a
Yeah.
day. But I guess I don't know. Like, is everybody gonna be in hazmat suits? I feel like that's gonna be the new trend. Like, you're just
I
gonna
don't
have
know.
you just
Mad Max.
like
Mad
Mad
Max.
Max,
Or Madman, whatever.
right? It's just interesting to me. It's just like we thought it was gonna be Mad Max, and then we saw it was like, this is not the world. It's not the world we thought it was gonna be. I was so ready. I had like packed my survival kit and everything, and I was just like, "Is this where it's at?" Because I had gotten source before anything dropped to say, "Hey, man, it's gonna get better before it gets worse." And I was like, "What?" And he worked for the police force, so I was like, What's going on?"
Oh,
Yeah, so he gave me a heads up, but it wasn't as serious as it was. And then, so then when that happened, I was like, let me prepare and then see what's going on. Then I'm seeing the numbers. I like, stay away from the news because that kind of stuff, it just
yeah.
adds extra pressure. But I think working with each other, I don't know. I feel like as creators, we're still not gonna trust it. just it's just gonna be
I don't
slow.
know. I don't really know. Oh, can you please explain me what's wrong with people in America who are protesting against coronavirus and against lockdown?
Oh,
I
I
saw
got this
that
for
on
you.
news and in internet. So what is wrong with them? That doesn't even happen in Balkans, and in Balkans happens everything worse. But we're not protesting against corona. So what's wrong with people? Please, can you explain me that?
I'll explain. I'll explain what's going on with that. So, Trump is more so, as much as I don't want to mention his name, he's more of like a fascist, right? So he promotes like this fear and whatnot. So he has like a little following. So if he says something like, "Hey, it'd be nice if America would open," then you have these group that like, "Yeah, we should definitely," and that's the group that you're seeing that's protesting is mostly like a lot of like Trump followers saying that they should open up. And then there's a little sprinkle of people who actually genuinely believe that they should open up. But we have the weirdest thing happening with the protests. We have the people who are protesting with signs and whatnot saying open up for like nail salons and all that. And I
Yeah.
need to get a haircut. Like, these are things it's just interesting to me. And then you have protesters with guns. Now, typically
Okay.
in America, when you're protesting with guns, and they call them protesters, but in reality, if you're trying to bully someone with a weapon, that's really terrorism, and they keep calling it protesters.
Exactly.
And I'm saying like, this is just it's a weird place how they market that. But we all know what it is, and it's really like a small, and they even said in the news, like, it's really a small militia. So you're saying a small military is that is not associated with the government is
Yeah.
protesting to force you guys to open up. I was like, what's gonna happen if you don't open up? Like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? I don't know. Let's entertain it a little more. Let's have them get tired, and eventually they'll go home. But typically it depends on, honestly, the color of your skin in America. If there was like a
Yeah.
protest of people who were black holding weapons, 100% it would not be the same result. It'd be ended there's people who were protesting with signs, people of color, that would
Yeah.
be taken away. But in America, completely different. So a lot of people are looking all across the world, looking at the protesters like, you guys are, there's people who are protesting against real stuff, and y'all really protesting against haircuts and nail salons and things that really mean like you could just do that at home by yourself, or just not get a haircut.
Exactly.
Like that, like, you should have came to me with like a stronger cause. Like, there's people in the hospitals working their ass off, like 20, like for hours and hours, and you can't stay home because you want a haircut. That's your
And
reason?
it's dangerous. I mean, this virus is not some kind of joke. People are dying. It's not some kind of theory. So you should just, I don't know, lock down Corona.
Right?
I mean,
Just stay home and just it's just to me.
sorry, I just had to ask because I saw that a few days ago, and I was like, "What?
It's
No,
it's
no."
it's so funny because it's been going on for a while now, and it's just like, can you guys like really go home? Like, and that's the it's and it happened before. I forgot when it was. There was a similar situation, and then anytime that like Trump make a little sub like, hey, maybe we should do this, right? And then all of a sudden, you got a small group, and the idea behind that is, if enough group of people do that, then it kind of sends like a ripple effect. Like, hey guys, maybe we should. What's the worst that can happen? And that's the trick. So it's like an
Yeah.
aggression. It starts off as aggression, and eventually it kind of bleeds out to other people saying like, "Yeah, maybe we should do it and whatnot." And then that's the goal. But they realized that when they opened up, the numbers spiked up. When the some of the protesters, most of them, they had gotten tested positive. One of the lead person that was running it, she was tested positive. Some people
Crazy.
had passed away right after from that. Because they weren't even wearing masks at that. And then some people were wearing masks and saying Corona's not real. And I'm like, so then why are you wearing a mask? And then somebody said,
Great.
read a comment. They were in a
The
festival.
article, people who stuck at some festival in Panama, they're last party people in the world. What?
The party never ends.
Partner. Oh, I heard about those people that were on cruisers, on on boats, on big cruisers,
Yeah.
and they were working there. So when everything started, they couldn't come home because I don't know. They couldn't.
They couldn't leave
whatever.
the
I mean,
boat.
they
They
didn't know
actually
how to do it.
they had
So
the boat
people are
there.
still there and they're having fun. I
They're
mean, it's
partying.
crazy. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
to me, it's just like wild. But yeah, it's something.
Yeah. So let's move on. I just wanted to ask you, what is the? Oh God, they have fire now for 40 days. Great. So, what do you miss the most in isolation? I don't know how long are you in isolation. Here we are for about a month and even more. I can't tell you exactly. I don't really remember. So it's pretty long. I don't know how long are you, but what is the thing that you miss the most in creative way and also in everyday way?
We've been in quarantine since March 15th, around there.
Okay.
And let's see. You said what was the most creative thing I've done? Okay, so I think the most what did I do? I think I was doing like
No, what do you miss? What do you
what I
miss
missed
the
the
most?
most. Oh, what I missed the
Yeah.
most is probably working with people and like going out. Mostly, we have a Walmart over here, so I think I miss going there like random times, like 3 a.m. like for no reason. Just being able to go someplace without any kind of repercussion. Like I feel like I took a lot of that for granted. Like being able to go out and travel, and I could, but I just really did it. And I just miss going to places and traveling and taking pictures. And mostly the people, even though I'm an introvert, but I think that's the part that I miss the most.
So even introverts now miss the people.
Yeah, it's
That's what's happening.
that's how you know it's real.
That's how you know it's real. Great. Yeah. So. Yeah, I saw you did. You actually sent me those photos you did FaceTime or whatever.
Yeah, all the
Those
pictures that I
video
sent, all
chat
the
photos.
yeah,
Yeah.
the photos I sent. Yeah, that's actually the ones that I sent you are from my master book that I have. That one is I took that. Those are over the course of 2014 to 2019. So
Okay.
so I compiled that together, and like those are dope. I think before my last photo shoot, I don't know if I definitely didn't send it to you, but you've seen it on my Instagram. was the model that was blowing smoke into the
Yeah, I saw
cloud that
it.
I create. I was like, what a way to end my photo shoots for 2020. Like out of like to it was just and the whole concept of that shoot was just it was just a test shoot, and it just kind of just grew on me. But honestly, like the photo shoots that I've had, I like to do a lot of color and
Hmm.
and kind of like really dark images with lots of color, and it kind of plays around. Like I wanted to create images that are like a colorful nightmare, kind of like Tim Burton. So
Yeah.
picture I guess Willy Wonka and Tim Burton, like that colorful world with that dark version, and just combine that together. And that's kind of like how I kind of create my work, is through that. And movies, lots of like action movies inspire some of the concepts that I have.
Mhm. Yeah, you have specific aesthetic. You have a specific style. Every time I actually see your photos, I know that are actually your photos.
Yes.
But I didn't ask this question anyone before, but I was thinking about it now. What do you think? Is there any way that this situation could actually, I don't know, for some reason, make some kind of a change in artists' style and their aesthetics?
Wait until
I mean, we're
people.
going through a very traumatic experience. Everything is happening. We're all anxious. So maybe some things could happen actually in some psychological way. I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think you're onto something. Honestly, based on what's going on, 100%, I know for a fact that once we are like back working with people again, like when it's like that first contact where you're like, all right, we could work together, you're gonna see a lot of pictures with people wearing masks. Like it's gonna be part of the aesthetic, and they're gonna play around with that. They're gonna do some boudoir. They're gonna have them wearing a mask. It's gonna be very like, I don't know. Like I feel like it's gonna be a point where a lot of people are gonna be doing it, and then on top of that, you're gonna see people wearing like the mask. Like it's gonna be all types of things with the mask. Because one person says, "Oh, no one's done it before," and then now you're gonna have a lot of people gonna try to do it, and as you know, that becomes like wildfire. But in terms of creativity, I think there's gonna be a lot of stuff with like isolation, like maybe
Hmm.
maybe people with isolation portraits where it's kind of like one person is there, and then there's like other people around them, but like they're spaced out, like scattered. So I feel like that'll definitely inspire people to, I guess, like how they felt in isolation will be showcased in their work, in their pieces of things that
Yeah.
are divided. Social distancing would be like a concept. Um, Lots of space being separated from the subject, and maybe not even have models in there. It's just showing like maybe like a divide. Like I in my head I was thinking of doing a photo shoot where it's like a plexiglass, and it's like my hand on the window,
Hmm.
but it's literally in like different situations. Like in the
Yeah.
restaurant, glass. While I'm sitting down, glass. Like everything is just like I can't touch it.
Which is actually going to be our reality very, very soon.
Yeah, pretty much just giant hazmat suits and like just seeing, like I don't know if y'all have like a 7-Eleven over there, but we have a 7-Eleven, and they like
Yeah,
makeshift
I know.
like this plexiglass and window, and like it's just weird. Like the just imagine going to your favorite place, convenience store or anything, and then they just kind of have all these things to kind of separate you, which is great. So it looks like you're going into like a bank teller, like you're like trying to withdraw money everywhere you go. And then a lot of places like Walmart have been
Crazy.
doing a lot of self-service, like self-checkouts.
Hmm.
So I feel like
Hmm.
they're kind of making everything more like less people that you're dealing with, and like people are buying on Amazon. People are. I think we're moving so far away from people interaction, like Uber Eats, for example. You don't have to really talk to anybody. You just put your placing orders on the phone. You don't have to
Yeah.
talk to a person if you order a driver. And I there's like the more the time goes by, but now this one is change how schooling is because teachers are teaching from home. So it's like, can kids really go to school now, or should they go to school, or can they just stay on their computer and go to class? And then work is starting to do that too. So they're like maybe investing in real estate for people to go to work is old mentality, and maybe this is the
Yeah.
time to take some to switch it up.
Exactly. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about those online shooting with models? You did one
Yeah, I did
over
one.
FaceTime or whatever?
Yeah, I did one FaceTime. It was actually with the same model that I worked with before the whole lockdown came to play, and that was interesting.
So what do you think? Is that, for example, would there be any possibility to maybe, do those shootings just like you would do it in person?
I the funny thing is it depends on the quality of the phone.
Of course.
And then it would force me to wake up early, because a lot of the stuff is going to have to be natural light, unless they're like a creative, or maybe they're like a beauty person and they have like ring lights and whatnot. Then it would work for them. So I think I would say for models who want to make this a thing, just invest in some lights. And if a photographer says, hey, we're going to do a shoot like this, so set up your lights like this, and this, and then now all you have to do is place your camera here, and I'll just start snapping away. I did that for the first time with me, with just like her sitting by the window, and then we had a theme of like, all right, it's going to be with a mask and quarantine. And then I was like, for me, I always talk verbally to instruct the model, but me personally, I always pose and do it myself. So to not
me
be able,
too.
so to not be able to do that and show them, and then be on the phone and kind of just press the screen, it's distracting to me. And I was like, oh man, it's kind of, now I have to modify how I shoot. So it's just me talking. To me, if someone else were to see this, if I saw this in 2016 and I looked into now, I would say that's pretty crazy. I'm talking into the phone like, yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. Yep, yeah. Just put your arm like, and just you talking to a phone. You doing a photo shoot through a phone. That's probably the most hysterical thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I also did that kind of shooting, and it was plus more crazy for me because it was my first shooting in English. I never posed the model in English before. So I was like, oh my God, now what? So whatever I wanted to tell her, I also had that thing that I forgot the certain word and whatever. But it turned out okay. So, but I find that concept really interesting. I definitely will do another shooting like that, just to have some time for it.
Yeah, and it makes
quarantine
great for content when you have it. In the meantime, because I've seen some people get really creative with it, and I thought that was really dope. It's just something that I have to kind of, like me, I don't really do lives like that until this whole crisis happened, and now here I am, and now it's like, if I have to do it doing photo shoots, being miles and miles away, it actually made me think like, I would love to work with somebody miles and miles away. Why didn't I do this sooner? So sometimes it's like, it's like a blessing in disguise.
Exactly. Okay. I don't know what should I ask you else. If you have any questions for me, you can ask.
I have a question for you.
For the end, I would ask you. Okay, ask me.
What when you were filming, what was the process of you creating that? Like when that film that you sent me before. Like what was your
Okay.
initial process in your head? Like when I make this film, I want the viewers to feel like this. Like what was that process like?
Okay, that's probably the November Plum, and it happened like now 2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
in 2018. Well, I don't know. It happened very spontaneously because the girl and that worked with me on the film, she is a writer, and she had an idea of writing short stories about a young girl and her everyday life. And I wanted to do a series of short videos on the same topic. And then we were like sitting and drinking coffee, and she said that, and I said my idea, and she was like, "Oh, let's do the film." So we started, and of course, that was my first bigger video project, which turned out to be a short film, and it was very crazy because I had to learn a lot of things, while working, and but I was actually fascinated how that process was very clear in my mind. It wasn't chaotic. It wasn't unfocused. I was very focused. So the initial idea we had was to present a young girl that is somehow pretty much ordinary, but still she's very unordinary, just like everyone of us. We are very specific, every one of us, but we're very often, put in some kind of boxes and living life not the way we want. Most people live life the way someone else wants. So that was some kind of initial idea of actually a girl who is wasting her potential and her life, doing some ordinary things. And I'm not sure how clear that message was. We were playing a lot with the story, a lot with the that narration. We played a lot with in a aesthetic way with the frames and the cinematography. So it's pretty much experimental. But that was the initial idea, and in the end, it turned out pretty good. If nothing else, it's experimental, and all the comments that we heard were okay, and people liked the story, especially girls who could probably identify with the main character. So I don't know. That's all I could say about the process. It's pretty much the same as every other creative process, as I think.
Will you be making more like projects, like film projects?
Yeah, I'm actually finding video more and more interesting all the time, and I'm doing it more and more. But for now, somehow everything is focused on music videos, and I really like that because I like combining my even photos, but especially videos with different music. So that's for now what I'm doing, but definitely want to work more on films.
Okay.
And in some time, I don't know, in the last few months, I actually figure out that I like documentary form a lot, even though I never did it before, and I will definitely try to do something with it. I'm not sure what is it going to be, but I will try to make something out of it.
Well, I was watching a video on how to make like a documentary, and it said find
Hmm.
something that you really hate and make a documentary
That you
on it.
really hate.
You hate, like you just don't like,
Oh,
and then you make a documentary on it, like like a particular topic that you really have a problem with, like, and it shows the passion. Like there's a guy
yeah.
in New York City. His name is Casey Neistat, and
Okay.
he got a ticket because he was riding he wasn't riding in the bicycle lane for obvious reasons in
Okay.
New York City, because most of the time the bicycle lane is usually blocked by either another
Oh,
car or objects. So as a bicyclist, you're not gonna always stay on that path. You're gonna be off. So you got a ticket for it. So he was so mad. So he decided to make a video of every time that he was riding in the bike lane, he would hit an object. So he'd go over garbage. He would hit a car. He would hit like I think there was like a food truck in the middle, and he would just let his bike just hit it, just every single time. And then at the end of the video,
great.
he ran right into a police car. So
Did
that
he got arrested? Or?
I don't think so, because after that video was posted, the mayor had contacted him and said, like, it made him like he had to respond to it. Like, all right, like at that point he didn't get the ticket, but then after that, then the bicycle lane was cleared and nothing was in its path as often as it was then. But he did it because he hated the fact that he got the ticket, and he was so mad about the bicycle lane always being blocked. So then we made the video, it just blew up. And
so be mad and do documentary for.
Yes. That's the best way. Like I want to do a documentary on the education system, like the teacher system, more so in America, because I know other places it's a little better in terms of like how they're more in tune with like the children, and like there's outside learning. We're just I feel like we're a little outdated where we're teaching kids in a box, and then
No. For example, we're completely outdated, so no worries.
We're not the only one out here.
No.
Yeah, so it's just, so I feel like there needs to be a switch, and me being like I'm remembering how school was to me. I would always look out the window because I was like, this is like, feels like prison. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make a documentary showing how the school system is outdated. Teachers don't love it. And the students feel like the teacher's outdated because of the technology that they currently have. Like, I don't need the teacher for information. I could literally just go home and go online or go on my phone. So right now, you're just occupying my time by physically being here. It's like, I'm not inspired. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like me, and I'm, taking this from a student standpoint, a teacher standpoint, and someone who wants things to change. And that's I feel like, because I'm so balanced in both worlds, I feel like that's my passion, to kind of interview people, like teachers, students, and everybody. Like, yo, what was your experience with school, and what'd you think about it, and why is it the same way it is for X amount of years?
Great. That sounds good.
Awesome.
So, okay, so for the end, I would definitely ask you if there is some kind of recommendations from you. What would you recommend to, I don't know, to me or to anyone? What do you watch? What do you listen to these days? What do you read? Is there anything
I got something for you.
What could you?
So the book that I've been reading lately is Tools of Titans. It's in reverse because Instagram is weird. So it's called Tool.
It's just reversed. It's like in reflection, like in mirror. So I couldn't read it well, but okay.
That's why Instagram is a little weird for me. That's why I'm like, why is this not reading the way it should be? But it's called Tools of Titans. And I read that book because there's a lot of business people, a lot of like wise individuals, people who did sports and all that, and they're interviewed by the author, and they give like their 2 cents on like the how they go about certain situations in life, how they became who they are, and each chapter is a different person. So the book is meant to kind of adapt the habits of the people who are wealthy and business people that you look up to, in the shortest amount of time. So you'll only maybe like 5-7 pages per person. And then just how you trying to learn what their habits to kind of, I guess, if you like it, maybe you'll use it. There's one on anger
It
management.
sounds inspiring.
You know, it's really good. I think I would advise definitely getting that book because it's very interesting, and I know for you for a fact that you might find some stuff in there that might inspire you to do some documentary work, or might think of like photography or whatnot, because they got photographers in there and filmmakers in there, so it's not
Great.
yeah, it's all balanced. But that's the book that I recommend. And in terms of a show, I just started watching Ozark, so that show's amazing.
Oh, I heard that, I don't know, a few days ago from someone also.
Yeah, definitely
That recommendation.
check out that show. I finished season 1. Absolutely
Okay.
absolutely crazy process on how beginning to end. And there's 2 more seasons, so that's what I'll be watching after this week, because this week I'm working on the magazine, which is going to be an interesting process.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. So I really don't have any more questions. Everything.
I just appreciate being
covered
here.
It was really interesting talking to you, especially because you're not from here around. So I'm very glad that we actually finally met, at least online.
Yes. No, that was definitely great.
So,
I really do appreciate the fact that you interviewed me, and then I actually at the same time got to meet you and heard your voice for the very first time. I mean, it took X amount of time for this moment to happen. Little do people know it's a historical moment, everybody.
historical moments of our meeting here.
Hopefully I'll be able to actually be in Croatia and actually like maybe do a photo shoot out there, because I think that'd be dope.
Yeah, it's just one thing. I'm not in Croatia. I'm in Bosnia. So you just messed that up, and I figured it out just a bit before we started that you actually tagged Croatia. It's Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I would have been in the wrong place. I'm like, where is she? Where's Tajana? Where is she? This is. I thought it was Croatia. That would have been
no
it
worries,
for me.
You were close enough. That's close enough. So no worries.
Got it. Now I got Bosnia.
Okay. So stay safe and stay home, stay well, and hopefully things will be better in some time. And we will finally get out and start shooting Mad Max or not.
Mad Max or not. All right. Enjoy your day and have a good one.